You're listening to WSMFF. WSMFF in the morning.
Hey, you're listening to WSMFF in the morning. The radio hour. It's the internet's favorite podcast. Yeah, we're gonna start it off with traffic. What's up with that traffic guy?
What's going on, Alex? It's your boy Ryan in the traffic chopper, looking totally sick on 78 coming in, massive backups. More time to listen to WSMFF in the morning. Back to you, Alex.
Hey, that's WSMFF. That sort of hurt my voice. So.
Dude, you gotta edit in with a bunch of really annoying effects, like a wooga horn and like a toilet.
Yeah,
throw a bunch of those in there.
Yeah.
You know, when because I lived in Tampa, there was a radio station, and when they threw it to the traffic person, they would play the sound of a car crash, which is probably the worst thing you could play on a radio station.
Yeah.
So I'd be driving down like I-4, and it would just be like a very realistic like skirt and then a smashing, and it was like I was like, oh my gosh! But it was every single time it was just they was throwing it to traffic.
But hello there, dear listener. This is Alex
and Ryan,
and we are your hosts for Suck My Fanfic. Mm-hmm. It's a podcast.
The internet's podcast. Podcast for the internet.
A podcast for the internet. A podcast for the poetic soul. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, sometimes I like to say a podcast for the bad boys.
Yeah,
that's what we are.
The rebels.
The rebels.
Yes.
This is the Rebel Podcast. So here we go. That's actually a really good name for a podcast, which I'm sure already exists.
The Rebel Podcast?
Every name for a podcast already exists.
Yeah, but I bet someone had a bad concept and took the name.
Yeah.
Like, this show explores every hair on James Dean's head. Today, that's Follicle good. 497.
Either that, or it's like, yeah, we can start a podcast. It's called the Rebel Podcast. And that started right about 2008. You're like, I hate the government. And then 2016 rolled along. You're like, government's great. We are not going to continue with this podcast.
The last episode of the Rebel Podcast.
Rebel Podcast. And then about 2 weeks later, it's okay, this is the Rebel Podcast, and we're going to resist.
Same people.
Yeah.
Same people.
So here we are. It's the Rebel Podcast. We're here to resist all forms of government, all forms of tyranny, and quite
forms of public decency.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are. Ryan, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm real good.
Yeah?
It's been a while since we've sat down and done this.
Yeah, it has. We're still hard at work at I don't even know what to call it. But
Super mystery surprise.
Yes. Chunk of episodes for you guys.
Chunk of burning episode.
We honestly were hoping it would have been episode 26, and then we said, it'll be episode 27.
Well, we met that guy. We had to dedicate the 2666th episode
exactly to that guy. And, if it rolls around episode 37, I think I'd still be happy with it. Mm-hmm. So here we are, sitting down recording, not writing or doing anything fancy, just going back to our roots.
Absolutely.
It's
not writing, not scripting anything, not wearing any pants. We're going back to our roots.
Yeah, that still makes me uncomfortable, just so you know.
I gotta feel the breeze.
That's fine. That's okay. So today I have a couple topics to talk about. Hopefully we can get through them pretty quick. Because, I figured we'll just kind of go through some quick fanficky news, some fanficky stuff. Not really have one set direction to go with it. And
Let's do it.
We'll kind of jump into the fix.
30 minutes of analysis.
30 minutes of analysis. Let's get this.
Start fast forwarding now.
Now, yeah. If you'd like to return to the fic, just fast forward to this time. Anywho.
Fast forward to 2 hours and 31 minutes.
Yeah. 2 hours later. Yeah, fuck that guy, am I right?
Jeez, I can't believe it.
So the first thing I wanted to pull up is we've kind of quoted a lot of authors with fanfic. So I wanted to quote an author I'm still stoked on. I'm not going to stop being stoked on him for a while, listeners. Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
So I think it's especially important to talk about Neil Gaiman's opinion on things at the moment. He has American Gods on Stars.
Yep.
Good Omens on Amazon Prime Video.
Blowing up the world.
It was just recently announced that he's going to get his own Sandman Netflix series. That he's going to help co-write the pilot, and he's also going to co-produce.
That could be good. Have they announced a casting at all?
No casting.
Who
David
should play?
Goyer is going to be the director.
Right. Yeah, I think that's they've been linked for a long time. Who should play Morpheus?
So in 2013,
Sandman.
In 2013, 2015,
JGL. You think JGL?
I do not think Joseph Gordon-Levitt should play Morpheus. I'm just saying that's who originally was tasked with the job.
Could there be a worse option?
I feel like if we could get someone with David Bowie's soul, we would be right around where Morpheus should be.
Who, if budget's not, don't even worry about it being Netflix.
Okay.
Who should be Morpheus?
Well, if it's Netflix, budget is not an option. They will cancel that shit after a season just because of the budget. Who should be Morpheus?
But like, even if this was a big time production, like it didn't matter. You
Quite
get your
frankly,
hand selection.
I feel like Morpheus is just Neil Gaiman. So I wish Neil could do it, but we know that's not going to happen. I think the biggest casting isn't going to be Morpheus. I think it's going to be Death.
Okay.
Whoever can play his sister, I think is going to be.
That's true.
But that's gonna be
you
the
need a
best
presence. What about like a very pale? Let's say he just spends a month inside. Benedict Cumberbatch. Is he have the ghostly features?
I could see it. I think Morpheus has the accent, so I could see it. Because that's a question. Morpheus,
his voice, his voice. You need someone with a great voice,
very deep but like soothing voice.
Yeah, you can't have like Stallone be Morpheus.
No.
Yeah. We have no Stallone. We have no Stallone to offer.
We both tried, and then we looked at each other. And
He's using a dream. He dreams of Adrian every night.
Or it could be Dreams of Adrian. Fuck yeah! I was gonna say it could be Arnold. We can just turn this into a whole impression.
Arnold. The internet's #1 impressionist podcast. Okay.
Hell yeah.
We're getting off track.
Get out of the nightmare! Get out of the nightmare!
All right. What about Neil Gaiman?
So with the success of Good Omens, with the success of American Gods, and all of the buzz about
Just
Sandman,
in general, yeah, sure.
I found an article, 11 Neil Gaiman quotes on writing.
Sure.
And one of them is in regards to a Smeagol Gollum /fic. And he goes, no, I don't read fan fiction. I think that all writing is useful for honing writing skills. I think you get better as a writer by writing, and whether that means that you're writing a singularly deep and moving novel about the pain or pleasure of modern existence, or you're writing Smeagol Gollum /, you're still putting one damn word after another and learning as a writer.
Wow.
I think that is one of the best things.
That's the end of the podcast right there.
That's the fucking podcast right there.
That's
Thank you,
folks.
Neil. You ended us.
Good night.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think we've said exactly that. I think we've literally said those exact words. When did he say that, and when do I start hiring my lawyer?
Yeah.
Because he took that from our podcast.
I know he took it from us. I believe it. Yeah, it's on his blog. 2003. So we stole from him. Well, please don't bring the lawyers.
That makes me feel like I like Neil Gaiman, because I agree. I agree 100%. I don't need to talk about it because I disagree.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. If you guys haven't read any Neil Gaiman, highly recommend, especially if you love fantasy.
Especially if you love Gollum and Smeagol.
Yeah, Gollum, Smeagol. You can get through Ocean at the End of the Lane in literally a day, because that's what I did. And I don't read
humble
that
brag.
fast. On the rag. Is that what you said? On the rag?
I said humble brag.
Humble brag. Wow, that's a totally different thing. humble brag. Man, that was a throwback to the first episode. That was a throwback to the first episode right there.
Gosh.
Damn. If you haven't read Neil Gaiman, read him. I think he's a very positive influence in the writing world, and he also has a great Twitter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
Was that it? You said there were many quotes, right?
Oh, there's a bunch of other quotes, but they're not about fanfic.
Oh, okay.
No. Some of them are just like...
I was like, wow, this is a pretty solid start to this list.
No. I quoted one on Twitter, which is, I wrote, and today was a good writing day, and on a good writing day, that's all that matters. So nothing else matters. Something like that. And... No, that's a great quote, too.
That's a pretty easy thing to say the day the Hindenburg crashed, Neil. You self-centered.
How dare you.
Underrated disaster, the Hindenburg.
It really was. It's because it was Germans and no one cares.
Underrated.
Yeah. So this is from Kotaku.
I don't know what that is.
It's a gaming, nerd culture, kind of anime website blog. All of these news organizations online are just glorified blogs. That's it. That's all they are. So that's what Kotaku is, unfortunately. The title, it was written June 24th of this year. Banned from the Chinese internet, LGBT fanfiction writers find new home on U.S. website.
Wow. How do they access it through the firewall?
I have no idea. In China, writing fanfiction can be dangerous. In the United States, although some authors used to be pretty litigious towards derivative works, fanfiction writers here don't usually have to worry about anything more serious than a cease and desist. In China, creating fan works can sometimes come with significant legal consequences, especially if what you're writing is homoerotic.
Wow.
That's why Chinese users are flocking to Archive of Our Own, a fanfic site that allows broad, free expression to fans who want to write fan works, including LGBT fans. Last year, the Chinese novelist Tiani was sentenced to 10 years in prison for publishing homoerotic fiction.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was subtext, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
Although making and selling pornography in China is illegal, the New York Times reported that even Chinese users on this site, Weibo, is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, yeah,
Weibo,
yeah.
which is basically Chinese Twitter, thought that the sentence was too harsh. Fanfiction site Archive of Our Own, frequently abbreviated to AO3, wasn't founded under nearly as dire circumstances, but its founders did intend the site to be kind of safe haven for fan works.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's so wait, so is like being like a member of the LGBTQ community, is that illegal in China? I didn't even think about that.
China has a lot of things, to my understanding, that they might not be illegal, but they're very frowned upon
Sure.
and very discouraged.
Sure.
Do you know about their social credit score?
Yeah. It makes your credit score go down?
Yeah, I
You
believe.
explain that real quick.
So,
for people who aren't as woke as you and I.
Yeah, you're not as woke. And of course, everything that I know about it was written, I believe, by American sources, so there might be a bit of bias there. Mm-hmm. If I'm not totally informed,
All American sources.
Yeah, the right way. Please understand, my intentions are not to smear the great state of China or the great, nation of China. I'm just explaining to you what
People's
I
Republic
read.
of China. Yeah.
The People's Republic, Democratic People's Republic of Republican China.
Yep.
Yeah. So apparently they have a social credit score system where the government pretty much tracks your movements and tracks your purchases and tracks what you're doing, and then they kind of create a social credit score.
A number. If you ever watched Black Mirror?
No, I've never
on
seen
Black
it.
Mirror, they have this thing where it's like a social media that's kind of taken over,
Okay.
and everyone has a score, and you get like people can be like, "Oh, thanks for doing that chore for me," or "Thanks for that sweet pick," and like upvotes are directly translated into a score.
Very similar.
And I'm pretty sure that episode came out like around the same time, if
Yeah.
not before this happened.
So, for example, one of the things that they do is that if you typically buy alcohol, your social credit score goes down. If you buy cigarettes a lot, your social credit score goes down.
If you have a
And
podcast
then
about fan fiction, your credit
your
score
credit
goes
score's
way
in the dumps.
up.
Whoa, up? Hell yeah.
Yeah, boy.
And so the way it can affect you in real time is it actually affects your mobility.
You can't get loans. Yeah.
No, literally your financial, social mobility, and your physical mobility. There was a journalist who reports against this, against China, against the government, and his social credit score is obviously in the dumps, and he can't even buy train tickets to get out of his city.
Yeah.
So it limits you. It really changes the way you're allowed to operate. Another example is I believe in China there's about 20 million Christians, and that's actually a pretty significant number compared to other countries. Percentage-wise, it's not that great, but 20 million of anything is a pretty big number. And there's a belief that there are, upwards of way more than that aren't officially identified by the government.
Sure.
Because that makes your social credit score go down. That makes you look bad. You
Sure.
can get jailed for being a Christian over there,
Right,
which
right,
is
right.
just, it's unfortunate to get jailed for any religion. And if you don't attend a church that is monitored
Especially
by the
one
government.
as great as, let's say, like the Great Church of Leviathan.
Exactly, the Leviathan. I mean, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to practice that. All hail be unto he. And so I would only assume that your social credit score would go down for being LGBT, and in effect for writing LGBT fanfic. I can't imagine that does well for you either in the government's eyes.
That's very interesting. The episode of Black Mirror is called Nosedive, by the way, for anyone who's interested.
Okay.
So that's really interesting, and that adds like a whole new layer to, because like people over here are like, oh, fan fiction's dumb, or you just like crank it out in your room, you write it down. Bad choice of words. You write it down in your room.
Crank it out.
You have to worry
Crank
about it.
one out.
You write it down in your room. People like don't even think about it. It's like whatever. But over there, it's like almost like an act of protest. It's like a rebellion.
Yeah, and doing it, you understand that there are not just social repercussions like there would be in the U.S. or possible monetary if you got sued.
There are like actual
There are governmental
stakes.
Yeah.
That changes my opinion, because when I was looking for sports fan fictions, I saw a lot of Klay Thompson, Steph Curry slash fic.
Yeah.
It was all written in Chinese. It was all written in Cantonese.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so dumb. Wow.
Yeah, they were brave for writing that. Stunning and brave.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like a jerk now.
Yeah, so then Kotaku goes into talking about just the sort of backlash that we've had in America about fanfic. So American fan fiction writers have faced their own smaller scale instances.
How often does
purges.
this article give me a power of 10? How many times does this article reference us? Because we're such a force in the.
Oh, you and I?
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty much countless. There are like numerous direct
We're
quotes
all
from
over
us.
this. Okay.
Yeah. In 2002, fanfiction.net instituted a policy banning pornographic works and began deleting them. And then I believe that was because of Anne Rice, the author of Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
She used to get crazy with suing people.
Yeah.
She's had to ease up and began deleting them. And then after a decade of more hands-off moderation, began deleting pornographic works again in 2012. In 2007, LiveJournal permanently banned over 500 accounts that the platform had deemed to have violated the terms of service with regard to pornography. Just last year, Tumblr banned pornography on the site, leading some artists to leave for greener pastures.
Well, fanfiction.net is keeping that policy up. They've got to have another purge.
Do they really?
Oh, yeah, for pornographic content?
Yeah.
It's everywhere on fanfiction.
Oh, I just said they had another purge.
No, when? Oh, no, half the server is not wiped.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's still very much there.
Mm-hmm. Over the past few months, I'd skipped a couple of paragraphs. Over the past few months, Chinese support tickets have been streaming into AO3. The site staffers who spoke with Kotaku say they are not sure why these users have been coming in at this particular moment, but AO3 is doing its best to welcome on. Why don't you ever read your fucking articles, you glorified blog? Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, people. These new members of the site, Claudia Ribaza, a communication staffer for AO3, said that they'd been observing Chinese users coming to the site in waves for the past couple of years. Generally, this occurs every time there are crackdowns on content, such as on sites such as Weibo, where the AO3 parent Organization for Transformative Works, maintains an official account. So it goes on. If you want to read the article, it's on Kotaku. Very bothered people don't ever read things before they post them, but it's banned from the Chinese internet.
In true fan fiction form, it has to have a lot of... Maybe that was purpose. Maybe this is a masterful article.
LGBT
incredulously
banned from the Chinese internet.
Whilst the government cracks down.
LGBT fan fiction writers find new home on U.S. website. Really interesting. Give that a look, you guys, if you're interested in it. I thought that was crazy to think that something that we find so trivial or weird or freeing, depending on who you are in this country, in other countries can, get you jailed.
It's dangerous thing.
It's literally dangerous to write that. And, whereas in the past when fan fiction was shared only on email threads you had to be invited to or mailed or shared at conferences or shared
written
at
in
meetings.
The sky.
Yeah, written in the sky. Now it's very different. But back then, in America, when all those things are going on, you feared for your social reputation and you feared for the threat of getting sued. But I don't know if you ever really feared of getting jailed.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't...
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. So even today, I mean, I hate it when people say, it's 2019, folks, but it's 2019, folks, and people are getting jailed for writing homoerotic /fic.
I think this just goes to show how out of the norm, because we live in a society.
Yeah, we live in a society.
Well, nerd culture is cool now.
Yeah.
And I was listening to an interview the other day, and they're talking about nerd culture is huge. All the hot girls want to be nerds, and all the guys want to go see Avengers and all this, that, and the other. But still, fan fiction is still lame.
Yeah.
It's still lame. In a world where the number one movie...
In a world
where the number one movie is Avengers...
And they can't pass Avatar.
Has Ant-Man as a main protagonist.
Yep.
The number one movie of all time.
Except for Avatar.
Yeah, well...
The Last Airbender.
Here comes that re-release. Here comes that fire re-release.
Re-release already dropped. It's not going to beat it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when I get a day off.
All right.
I'll watch it a couple times.
Okay.
But in that world... Fanfiction is still lame and nerdy, and people a little hesitant to talk about it. And then you go to a country where stuff like that isn't cool, and it's literally illegal.
It's literally illegal.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like when I'm on Twitter and people are like podcast recommendations, and I'm still that shitty person that will recommend us. And sometimes
someone's got to do it.
Sometimes I've gotten reaction from people like, I don't really like fan fiction.
Yeah,
that's what turned you off, really.
You don't like fan fiction?
Okay.
Come on. You watch Game of Thrones season 8. You like fan fiction. Get out of here.
Speaking of which, I don't have it pulled up, but that's one thing we could talk about too. George R. R. Martin said that Martin said that he thought that the internet was toxic after the release of the season 8 finale.
I see how he could see.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But the people were like, "Fuck you, George! You deserve it."
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he didn't. He literally wanted more seasons. Thought it could go to season 13.
He literally didn't. He didn't make it. He had no part in making it.
HBO gave them Cate Blanchett. They would have given them any money they asked for. They would have given them 5 more seasons if they wanted it.
No, but you have Jorge Armatin, and he gets
fuck you, George.
Yeah, he gets the brunt.
The brunt of the barrage.
The brunt of the barrage. And now I feel bad for him because he has all the pressure to write a good ending to the books.
He's got no pressure.
No.
He's been writing that book for eons.
Eons. If it's not a fucking masterstroke of genius, I'm going to be disappointed in you, George.
People will have forgotten by the time it comes out.
Think
There'll
so?
be something else, yeah.
So, last topic that I wanted to talk about before we move on to the fix, it sort of sums up everything that we've been going on about. But is authorial intent versus the death of the author. That's sort of the scholarly way to sum up what we talk about on a weekly basis. So do you want an insight into what that means?
Yes, please. I'm waiting with bated breath.
Death of the author, or authorial intent, still creates divisions today. Some people fall on the side of Barth. So there was an entire paragraph I skipped, so Barth's probably in that.
Is Barth's a person?
I believe so.
Okay.
They think the intention of the author is irrelevant, and books will always be up for new interpretations. To some extent, I agree. I'm reading the article. That's not my opinion.
Where's this article hosted again? I'm sorry.
This is duelinglibrarians.net. Authorial intent and, quote, death of the author.
Dueling Librarians.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's a cool name for a website. This is what makes literature classes and book clubs fun. Everyone has their own takes on what has been experienced by all. I cannot tell you the number of my English classes that devolved into students arguing about what the author really meant in any given scene. On the other side of things, it is ludicrous to completely deny that authorial intent is important. So Death of the Author basically explains that once the work is out, the work speaks for itself. Anything that's canon is written. Anything that's not canon is not written. So just because J.K. Rowling comes out and says Dumbledore is gay,
she would have to write a novel about it.
Until Dumbledore is in a
and
relationship,
it has to be her specifically. It has to be the original author. It can't be like J.R.R. Tolkien's son writing about it.
Well, that's when you still get into death in the author and
literal
authorial intent.
Author,
yeah, because the thing is, are Brian Herbert's Dune books canon? Because Frank Herbert did not write them. Even though they took Frank Herbert's notes and ended it the way that Frank Herbert wanted to end it, he did not write that book, the 2 books that ended it. So, are those canon? Does Brian Herbert
who has authorial intent would say nay.
Authorial intent would say probably not.
Okay.
Death of the author would probably say probably.
What if it was the intent of the author to write those books?
He didn't
exactly as they were.
Yeah.
But it was his intent. It's in the names, in the title.
No, trust me, it becomes gray areas. It's like there's a story, I don't know if it's true, it might just be one of those stories that everyone says is true but isn't. But it's with Ray Bradbury.
His distant cousin, terrible author, Ray Bradbury. Just awful books. What a rebel.
Yeah, what a rebel.
He wore a leather jacket all the time.
He
burned
was actually
books.
the founder of the Rebel podcast. Did you know that? Ray Bradbury.
Not Ray Bradbury.
No, not Ray Bradbury. Apparently has a story where he was at a conference and someone walked up to him and made some comment about like, oh, did you make the curtain blue because it reflected this? And then he said, no, I just wanted it to be the color blue. And then the guy said, no, you're wrong. It's to reflect his depression or something like that. And that to me, that little story sort of sums up this argument where it's death of the author and authorial intent. If Ray Bradbury, who wrote the book, told you that it didn't mean anything, does it mean anything? Can you completely discount what he said to say that you're right or that your interpretation is correct?
I feel like the people who are falling on the side of authorial intent are the ones who have like a rock in their shoe about the whole thing, and they're like, oh, no, you can't think that because this and this, and they're sticking to dogma.
Are you saying authorial intent or death of the author?
Authorial intent. Because I have no problem with saying whatever the author says is right. Like, I have no problem with sticking to that. But the kind of personality who would go around saying, like, yo, you can't interpret this, just seems like the person who would be gravitated to authorial intent.
So are you death of the author?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about you can interpret
wow.
that. That's like part of the fun of it. And it may be contradictory, but I think in some cases, like if an author writes something, I'm like, I'm on board. I think I go about both ways. But I'm not going to impose that on everybody. If you think it means something else, that's totally fine.
See, that's interesting. Unless it's meant to be up to interpretation, I'm very authorial intent.
What distinguishes something that's meant to be up for interpretation versus something that is not?
Well, I feel like if there's an ambiguous ending where you're sort of supposed to conclude it...
It has to just be the ending? It can't be...
No, but like, you know what I mean? If there's something that's intentionally ambiguous, it's like with an H.P. Lovecraft work, he doesn't describe his monsters that often. Not the scary ones, not the ones that like the big baddies for the most part. So you're up to interpret what it is.
I'm not talking
Your brain creates the scariest thing.
Oh, I'm not even talking about like imagery and stuff. I'm talking about like I'm
saying that for an example.
I have no problem with someone who's like Cthulhu was actually global warming. Yeah. Like I've got no problem with
White
that.
Walkers.
Take with it what you will. Do whatever you want.
So your death of the author. You think that once the book goes out, it's up to interpretation. It doesn't matter what the author says.
If someone buys the book, they paid the money, they can take whatever they want from it.
Well, they can take whatever they want for it, but I don't know if that's the objective interpretation of the book.
Is it about the objective of the author, or just is that the objective of the piece? Like, well, I guess it comes out. What is the original? Yeah. What is the intended author? I don't think. Well,
it's also sort of an art from the artist sort of thing,
right? Oh, I'm all like, if you go see a show, you go look at a painting or whatever, like whatever you take from it, I'm not going to change that.
But I feel like a painting, especially an abstract painting, has more room for interpretation than a novel.
Sure. I know, but I think you can write something with your own life experience.
Yeah.
And then hand it out to the world, and then someone else can take their own baggage into it and get something different.
I think no matter what, if you put something out there as an author, your interpretation is going to die at some point to some people.
Sure.
But I also believe that you can't totally discount authorial intent.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't believe that.
Yeah,
but that's when you get into the question of J.K. Rowling. Is Dumbledore gay? I've never read the books. Is Dumbledore gay in the books? Does he ever express that way? Is his sexuality ever even discussed
Maybe
in the books?
some people read it that way. Lonely old man living in a tower with a fabulous flame bird and a penchant for young men. Maybe that's how they read it. I didn't.
So you didn't read it that way?
No, I did not.
Because there's so many people I talk to who are like, oh, well, subtextually this. I'm like, I don't read subtext. I just read text. I guess I'm dense that way. I don't know.
I mean, some things lend themselves more to
some things are blatantly subtextual. But
things that inspire whatever my life experience inspires me to read into the subtext. I've never been a boy wizard before.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was just like, wands and stuff.
Yeah, wands are pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just think that is an interesting discussion, interesting question.
Very interesting.
And I think that lends itself to sort of what we discuss, like I said, on a weekly basis.
Sure.
Especially when it comes to fanfic. Is it up to interpretation? Can I change it? Can I make it something that I want instead of what the author wrote?
Yeah.
Or do I have to keep it canon? Do I have to keep it
I think the fact that fan fiction exists answers that question.
You think fan fiction is the genocide of the author?
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go. That's the episode title: fan fiction, genocide of the author, authorial genocide.
But it's not in a way that it's like the author is wrong.
No,
a lot of pieces, like some of the ones we've done recently, are inspired, and they take the tone from it, and they go down that.
Yeah,
they don't change anything. They don't read into subtext. They literally continue the story.
Well, I think there's something very Western about monetizing and owning a story. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because I don't think there is. But I think that does sort of lend itself to the system that we have. Because if you think about it, especially with, really, honestly, before the printing press, for the most part, most stories...
Thanks, Gutenberg.
Fucking Gutenberg. Guten bitch. Most stories were handed down orally, oral traditions. There's a really, really big... movement right now in the anthropology community to take down as many oral histories as we can until those stories are dead, because people aren't giving oral histories anymore. And
hasn't that been the case for a while now? It's like, well, we got isn't that like the origin of all books and stuff? It's like, we got to get this down. What did you say? Dude, that was cool. Write that down.
That was really cool. Write that down. Yeah. And so that's sort of why, especially if you read mythology, like Nordic, Greek mythology, you go through and there are all these different interpretations of what happened, because there's an oral tradition and the stories get passed down differently. Someone adds some flair.
Greg tells it so well. Go ahead.
That Homer guy's so good at telling fucking stories, dude. Go listen to his ass. Write that shit down.
Dude, that guy would
put that shit in the chat.
We would just cut up at the he was so funny.
So fucking good.
You gotta talk to Homer.
Yeah, that course he had with him, that was so sick. They wore masks. Oh my God. So I think it's almost like I said, there's almost something Western. There's almost, I guess, something inherent in our values about owning and containing a story.
That's what we do, man. We own land and we own stories.
That's it. And so I think that sort of deals with authorial intent. When you have something that's an oral tradition and you hear the story, it's not that person's story who told it to you anymore.
They heard it from somebody else.
And so you're just retelling it your way. And so maybe that's what fan fiction is. Maybe you writing fan fiction, you're tapping into thousands of years of tradition of taking someone else's story and writing it the way you'd like to.
Isn't that what you've said before? Is that like the best authors are the best readers because they take and they borrow and they take all these things?
Yeah.
It's all a tradition. It's just instead of being spoken, it's now written.
Yeah. Neil Gaiman I was reading a Twitter exchange he had where someone said something about their comfort books that they reread at least once a year, and they said that they had 5 comfort books. And he goes, man, you only have 5? That's really sad. It's like, man, how often is that guy read?
I like to think that tweet didn't even involve Neil Gaiman. He was just like scrolling through Twitter, and he was like, only 5?
I'm about to flex on these asses.
It's like 200 followers. Neil Gaiman just comes in. You only have 5? Pff, I got 20. Just drops a nuke on this person's inbox.
That's like, I don't know why still whenever I finish a book or I read, I'm always like, I'm flexing on someone right now. I'm flexing on someone.
I'm going to go outside, see a homeless person, and be like, I just read a book.
Yeah. What have you done today?
Can I have some water?
Yeah. Water, please. But that was my...
That's an easy flex.
Yeah.
It's an easy flex.
Yeah. So that was my other topic of conversation. So that was sort of where I want to leave us. I have 2 fics for today. I couldn't... we couldn't give...
2 fic twofer.
2 fic twofer.
2 fic twofer Tuesday.
We couldn't have an episode so close to 4th of July and me not read something 4th of July related.
Oh, okay.
So this first one is called I Want You to Join Me in Bed, parentheses, Uncle Sam times reader, or ex-reader.
Wait, is this Uncle Sam fan fiction? Uncle Sam fiction?
Uncle Sam fiction.
Ah.
It's on Wattpad.
What is the... can you explain to me Uncle Sam? So, we always explain, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! We take like 6 hours to explain it.
Yeah.
Briefly explain Uncle Sam, and how could you write fan fiction about him? Does he have like a personality?
Oh, well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the UK has Britannia, right? She's the personification of the land, of the people, of the government, of the nation, the nation state. So I think Uncle Sam is sort of our personification of the United States. I believe he was created somewhere in the mid-1800s, maybe even the 1830s.
Okay.
And he sort of became this personification of America. He's got the starry top hat, the blue suit, he's
blue
got
blazer. Does he have striped pants?
He's got striped pants for fucking sure.
He looks like Colonel Sanders a little bit. He's got a white beard and mustache and like longer hair.
I will say, uncharacteristically for Alex, I didn't want to alienate our international listeners, so that's why I had Uncle Sam join them in bed. You can feel his warm embrace as each American does every night.
Absolutely. America's kind of wrapped up in a bunch of different countries, so I'm sure everyone in some way, shape, or form gets into bed with Uncle Sam's.
He's getting around. That's what I'm saying.
Nice.
Yeah. But no, I didn't want to do a full Uncle Sam or Founding Father fic, not to alienate anybody, to keep it interesting. I don't want people to see 4th of July. I want to just go, oh, well, turn that one off. Because quite frankly, the United States does not have one Independence Day. We've got 365, baby.
Hey, that's
I'm free all day, every day.
365.25 Independence Day.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So I'm not going to limit my freedom to one day, Ryan.
Sure.
We will have the freedom to talk about Uncle Sam joining you in bed, and I think that's beautiful.
God, I love this country.
Yeah, he also got very popular. The Uncle Sam, the I Want You to Join the Army, came from I believe a Bond poster from the 1910s.
I want you to buy bonds. It wasn't even I want you to join the armies. I want you to buy American bonds.
Yes, because that was how we...
And for our international listeners, bonds are secret agents.
Yes.
They're normally called 007s.
There's a 007, there's 008, 009. It all depends on how much money you give for the bond. Yes.
And then he kind of just hangs around your house and does chores and stuff.
Yeah.
But makes you martinis.
Yeah. Uncle Sam has always sort of been a caricature where that was like the mainstream look of him. It's it's a very hyper-realistic drawing.
Yes.
It's written by It's Emma, actually, on Wattpad. After a hard day's work, you finally reach your apartment, who you share with your boyfriend, Uncle Sam. You walk into the living room and you see that he is naked while on the phone. He sounds angry. Honestly, this whole time, I just want to give big middle finger to China, because we're talking about Uncle Sam doing you. This could get us jailed over there, buddy.
This would be the ultimate fan fiction. Someone who lives in China should write.
Who would go to jail?
Right.
He sees you and licks his lips and yells, "I don't care. Donald Trump sucks." Maybe it's I don't care, comma, Donald Trump sucks. But the way it's written was, I don't care that Donald Trump sucks. He then hangs up the phone. He turns around to you. What? I love Donald Trump, you scream at him. He stares at you angrily. Oh, so you're cheating on me with a guy whose hair looks like corn? You stared at him, shocked. I would never cheat on you, you yell at him. You both then start to yell at each other, but after a while, you both stare at each other in silence. You both then start making out.
Okay.
After making out with each other for 3 hours, he says to you, I want you to join me in bed.
Fantastic.
He then carries you, bridal style, to your bedroom. He strips you. After he strips you, he grabs a jar of pickles and rubs it on your nipples. You moan in pleasure.
What?
He then gets a stick of butter and shoves it up your vagina. You start moaning crazily.
I have a vagina.
After he did that, he licks your clit, trying to get all the butter. You moan.
That's
even
a very
more.
American thing to do. It needs butter.
It needs butter on this. Uncle Sam finally got all the butter out of your vagina, which is probably good, because you shouldn't have any food up there.
Yeah, you could get a nasty infection.
Then he shoved his wiener in you. You moan, and he pleasures you with his wiener. After a while, you both reach your climaxes, and he falls on top of you. He whispers in your ear, it was a good fuck. You both then fall asleep. The end.
Wow. Criticism number one, not as descriptive as I wanted. I wanted more detail.
I wanted a star-spangled climax.
But maybe that just speaks to the relationship between the American people and Uncle Sam. We get really mad at our country. We get angry.
Butter in our vaginas.
But then all he has to do is give us, butter in the vagina.
Give us his wiener.
Give us the wiener.
Butter in the vagina.
And it's so rote at this point that it doesn't even need description. It's like, oh, wow, our government's terrible. Give us an apology. Give us a tax break. Give us a this. And we're like, okay, I love you again. And then Uncle Sam just passes out on top of us. I mean,
it was a good fuck.
Happens all over again.
We were sitting there like, wow, I really love making love to my one and only. And he just turns, it was a good fuck.
That's right.
Like, I thought we made love. I thought it was important to you, Uncle Sam.
Back to the political interest groups.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's the story. That is the story. What'd you think?
Yeah, again, for something that lacked any description whatsoever, I could viscerally envision it in my head. Maybe for better or for worse.
I will tell you, massive criticism. Why don't you spell check? Why don't you grammar check?
That's a positive. That's a classic fan fiction. It's on Wattpad.
It's on Wattpad. That's true.
Yeah, Wattpad itself, which is kind of like a misspelling right there.
I love the creative energy, though.
I loved the thought. Like, I had never thought of Uncle Sam fan fiction until you started this.
There you go.
Why was he naked on the phone? Who was he talking to?
I don't know. We never got to see him in his, his trademark outfit. He was just already kind of ready and raring to shove that butter up our vagina.
I totally pictured him wearing the hat, though.
Yeah.
He's naked
the whole time.
He's naked, wearing
sweet.
the hat, and then just like super
Did
jacked.
Did he get butter all up in his beard?
I didn't even picture that part. No, I didn't even picture that. I just think he's jacked.
Oh, he's yoked.
Yeah.
He's fucking
like old
yoked.
Man shredded.
Yeah. He's lifting the freedom for everybody, I don't know. Lifting up tyranny, something like that. I'm sure there's something there we could read into it if we wanted to.
Sure.
So that was the obligatory July 4th fanfic.
Good, very good.
I'm sorry that it was short.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. And for everyone who it's just another day, I mean, happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July, yeah. To Americans, it should be Happy Independence Day. But like I said, we have 365. That's so right. Just Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
It's a nice reminder. What went on.
Right.
200, or I guess it'd be 2019 years ago. What went on. So, to not do something 4th of July related, I was thinking about what I wanted to do this week, and I said, damn, you know what I really loved as a kid? It's Jimmy Neutron.
Got a blast. Bark, 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 bark. Nice.
So, we're doing Jimmy Neutron. Ryan, please explain to me what Jimmy Neutron is.
James Isaac Neutron.
Is it Isaac Neutron?
That's his middle name.
That's really good.
Is a boy genius. Yeah. Much in the vein of like a Dexter's Lab. It was like a 2000, 2001, 2002 movie. It's a boy named Jimmy, and he's got a bunch of friends, Carl and Sheen. His dad is Hugh. His mom's name escapes me right now. But he's just a genius, and he goes on adventures. He's in, like, elementary school.
It starts with a movie. Where
they battle the Yokians.
Yes.
Are they in this fic?
They are not.
Okay, I don't got to explain them. That's
all of the adults get abducted by the aliens, and the kids think it's totally fucking rad.
They go to Retroville?
Yeah.
Ultraman Park.
Yeah, and then they just basically realize,
Americans of America.
Whoa! That was so fun. Dude, as a kid, that song was liberating.
That song banged.
It was almost as good as What's New Scooby-Doo.
What's New Scooby-Doo, that song, and like Sean Paul's Temperature somehow got it. Those were just on the...
Well, Proud Family, too. I'd kind of throw that in there.
Proud Family. That was a cool down jam.
It was, yeah. That was when you're getting slow with your honey, both drinking some chocolate milk. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's bringing me back. So I decided I would do a Jimmy Neutron fic. Jimmy Neutron had his friends Carl Weezer.
My scapula.
And Sheen. What was Sheen? Estevez.
Yes.
Sheen Estevez. He was in love with Cindy Whopper?
Who's this? Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Sheen was in love with Libby? Libby, yes.
There's an episode where they go to Egypt and they go to the pyramids. Great episode.
Yeah. I also love the one where they get superpowers.
That's a straight up Avengers inspiration.
Totally ripped off on that one. I also remember when they did the first episode, I didn't realize it was going to be TV shows with the jeans. Was it the pants?
The pants that attack?
Yes.
In the movie, fun fact, in the movie,
actually in the movie canon,
Jimmy Neutron wore shorts.
Oh,
because they had a bigger budget and they could animate the contours of the shorts and the legs. But in the show, he had jeans.
Is that a real fact?
It was easier to animate.
Is that a real fact?
That's why he wears jeans instead of shorts.
Are you just saying that, or is it a real fact?
It sounds real.
That does sound real.
Yeah.
Damn it, I was excited.
Point to me where that's wrong. He does wear shorts in the movie and jeans in the TV show.
I do believe he's also voiced by a female. I
don't know.
Yeah, but he had an outside lab. It was underneath his playhouse
or whatever. Yeah,
and
his parents don't know.
No, his parents know he's smart, but don't realize how smart he is.
He's got like a big lab.
Yeah, I rewatched the getting ready for school scene. Just to from the movie, just to sort of prepare for
this. He gets
that
really
sweet
mohawk.
He gets that sweet mohawk. He has the robot that ties his shoes,
brushes his teeth.
Yeah, he's a model of the solar system, makes his bed for him. He takes a massive facial when he tries to brush his teeth. Yeah,
and he's got a mechanical dog named Goddard,
named after Robert Goddard, the American father of rocketry.
There you go.
Yeah, and Goddard is like a motorcycle and basically everything. And then he poops on the stoop, and he poops out lug nuts.
Yeah, just bun nuts. That's probably an issue, like a critical by default
that can't
failure.
Be good for him.
Yeah, he's going to fall apart.
I also played the PS2 game. You know, remember the little...
Is that the one where you go through like the pyramids and at the end you have to fight your evil self?
I do believe that was a PS2 game.
I played the PC version of that game. And there's like one where you have to fight like a giant Miss Fowl. You're in the rocket ship. Is that the game you're talking about?
I don't think that's the game I'm talking about. What are those things called? The Weevils? The Twonkies. The Attack of the Twonkies.
Oh, okay.
That's the game that I played.
I did not play that one.
Yeah, it was so cool because you had to assemble, you had to find parts to assemble inventions, and you would use them to fight the Twonkies.
Okay, so it's very similar to the game I played.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Yes, because you got dropped in like a level, and they're like sandbox size levels.
Yeah,
pretty linear. But then you had to like find the inventions to put it. Yes.
Yeah. So there was that, and it was right around the same time as Fairly Odd Parents. They had a crossover at one point, actually.
Mm-hmm. Also, Miss Fowl, I mentioned it, one of the greatest characters ever.
Yeah.
Carl! Jimmy! And Shane!
So this fic is on Archive of Our Own. It's written by Zepuka. It's called My True Feelings. It's written in the first person of Jimmy Neutron. So the way that they characterize Jimmy is a very adult way to characterize him, where he's sort of like this like over-analytical scientist, and I thought it was an interesting take on the character because it's not really anything that's sort of like addressed.
Well, I mean, he's not like a funny character. He's just funny because like he surrounds himself with like Carl and Sheen are kind of the comedic relief, but he is very serious. He's analytical, so it makes sense.
Carl is obsessed with llamas.
Loves llamas.
Sheen is obsessed with Ultraman. And Sheen didn't get his own TV show, a spinoff.
Oh yeah, he was in outer space or something. It was wretched. Real quick, I've read a lot of Jimmy Neutron fanfiction.
You've read a lot of?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want that's my experience. Like I am no stranger to
Jimmy Neutron.
To the Jimmy Neutron.
So maybe you know this one already.
Probably not. I read a lot of the crack stuff, which was hilarious. Okay. Hilarious fanfiction.
This is serious. I listen to the tap, tap, tap of my fingers on my keyboard as I type out a complex equation for a Vox to evaluate, which is like Siri, basically, in his laboratory. The rhythmic beats match the beating of my heart as it pounds with adrenaline. This moment, right now, as another invention nears its last step of completion, is ecstasy for my soul. Fingers tingling with excitement and the numbness from typing so long. I at last hit the Enter key, completing the formula and instructing Vox to initiate the construction sequence. My brain is practically buzzing during the time I wait for the process to complete. Each and every number, variable, and determination matrix runs through my mind once more as I double, triple, and quadruple check my calculations to pass the time. Each time, the math checks out.
Math doesn't lie. My math is correct. And there is, therefore, nothing that can go wrong with this invention. The sweet ting of the timer let me know my invention's construction is now complete. I anxiously approached the synthesizer, which used to be my mom's microwave, until I enhanced it. And I depressed the lock release button, my breath catching in my throat as the door swings open. There it was, my magnificent invention. On a platter in the center of the turntable rested a tiny white ellipsoid, looking, well, unimpressive. I'll have to change that. Have Vox give it some color or a bit of a shine. Something that gives it that, wow, Jimmy Neutron's a total genius flair. Appearances aside, this little baby was going to solve my slight academia problem. Vox's voice broke into my aesthetic ponderings with the report. Possible intruder detected. Unidentified and rotund humanoid approaching clubhouse in erratic patterns. Initiating defense strategy 314159 pi in 10 seconds. Vox! Stream security video! I command, briefly stepping away from my new gem of an invention to assess the external situation. The instant the video feed loads on the screen, I issue another command. Vox! Abort defensive strategy 314159 pi and direct our guest inside! Command acknowledged, canceling defensive strategy and activating the wormhole. Panicking, I cry out in protest. Wait, Vox, no! The wormhole hasn't been properly beta tested yet! Abort! Note to self. Fix bug in Vox's algorithm selection function.
Before you test the wormhole, you got to buy a dinner first.
That was one of the worst jokes I think we've ever made on this podcast.
That's a Rick and Morty joke.
Oh, is it?
Remember when they go through the wormhole? It's the episode where Rick and Jerry go to the planet together. And they're like, ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the wormhole. At least buy me dinner first. He says that on the way in and the way out of the wormhole.
That is so good. Okay.
Just because Justin Roiland said it makes it funny?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, plan B. Goddard, go out and bring Carl inside safely. I instruct my reliable robotic dog, who shortly returns with my rotund friend and Sheen. Hey, Jimmy! Oh, this is Sheen. I can't remember how to do a Sheen voice.
Hey, Jimmy! It's just frantic, like you just drank a bunch of purple florp and you're hopped
do
up.
not get into your Rick voice on this one.
Hey, Jimmy!
I was just on a... Hey, Jimmy! I was just on my way to spy on Libbylicious, but then I saw Carl walking around all funny. Did you mutate his feed again? Can I see? My hyperactive Hispanic friend inquired. The reason for Carl's serpentine path traversal was quite apparent to me. A genius. But before I formulated a proper response, Carl answered for himself. No. I just can't see where I'm going. I accidentally broke my glasses, and my new pair won't arrive until tomorrow. Hey, what did you dye your hair blonde? Carl, there's a broom. That's a broom. I'm over here, Sheen corrected. Oh. I'm sorry your vision is compromised, Carl, I expressed my sympathies, but was too excited about my new invention to dwell on the topic of his eyes any longer. Beaming with self-satisfaction, I
Chekhov's eyes, it's coming back.
Well, gentlemen, you're just in time to witness my neutronic skill enhancer. My loyal minions followed me as I led them back to the microwave-turned...
My loyal minions?
Jesus. My microwave-turned neutronic synthesizer and pulled out the newly formed pill. Jimmy, for something that's supposed to be enhanced, it's kind of small and boring, Sheen blurted, nearly spewing some spit on it. Where is it? I don't see it, Carl complained, scrutinizing an empty flower pot that had once held my girl-eating plant experiment. I had to dispose of that one after it found my photo stash of Betty Quinlan and ended up eating so many photos it became too large to manage. I still theorized that Vortex had something to do with that particular incident. Carl, over here, I called, waving him over with a nod of my head. Do you remember the episode where they had to go in the dreams?
Yes, and they went into Carl's dream and there was a bunch of llamas.
Was there anything scarier than that lima bean to you as a kid?
Oh, the crazy lima bean that was chasing... Oh, yeah. I totally didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Dude, Betty Quinlan was bae. Look at that.
She was bae,
Look at that, yeah. Dude, Betty Quinlan totally spilling the tea in this picture.
Oh,
dude, Betty Quinlan looks like Kylie Jenner.
She does look like Kylie Jenner.
Dude, tell me that's not a freaking Kardashian.
That's Betty Quinlan's a fucking Kardashian. Oh, okay. I'll just follow the friendly chocolate ice cream cone over there. It sounds like you're behind it. Carl, that's Jimmy's chocolate whippy dip hair, Sheen exclaimed, laughing. He just called you an ice cream cone. Ha 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 ha. Ugh, this was taking too long. I settled for retaliating with a mere glare of anger in Sheen's direction and proceeded with my layman's termed explanation of my invention. This neutronic skill enhancer will have the temporary effect of augmenting the skill it's been formulated to target. For instance, this pill will give me a boost of creativity and poetic writing skills. So I'll once again be able to top the scoreboard at school, even though this assignment is poetry. But Jimmy, don't you hate poetry? Carl inquired. Sheen gave a similar protest before I was able to address Carl's. And you nearly delete all of mankind, except for Orchalord, of course. The last time you tried to use science to improve your creative writing skills, didn't you nearly delete all of mankind? Guys, trust me, I ran the calculations multiple times on this one, and I'm using the principles of biochemistry this time instead of nanobot technology. Well, if you put it that way, can you make me more like Ultralord? Sheen burst, shaking me by the shoulders until I consented to grant his wish. Okay, I can make you a pill if I just adjust the formula to accentuate your crime-fighting ability. I offered, though in reality this would probably only make him even more ADHD in the end. At least the effects were only temporary, and with Sheen's imagination, he'd probably convince himself that the pill had succeeded.
Do you remember that episode where they played like kickball or baseball?
Yeah.
And he like made bats that only hit home runs and gloves that only caught the ball.
Only dingers.
It sounds like something similar.
This interpretation of Jimmy Neutron almost makes me feel bad for him because he's like so
below him.
Yeah, he's like so above everybody, but he's just like living with it because of his age. Mm-hmm. That's real life right there, friends.
Once he gets to college, and he's off.
He's going to be in college in like 8th grade.
Well, the thing is, he'll always find people are below him. He'll be an isolated genius if he keeps treating people the way he's treating them. He keeps looking down on them. Be like, ugh, here come my minions.
Well, see, that's true. I don't.
The way this is written.
The way that this is written. In the show, he doesn't act like that.
No.
But
very nice guy.
This is written very differently.
Maybe this is what he's been thinking the whole time.
Yeah,
Jimmy puts
he's just a great actor. Damn.
Add that to his list of accomplishments.
How about me, Jim? Can you make my eyesight better until my glasses arrive? Carl timidly approached and inquired of my lab coat hanging from the coat rack. I'm over here, Carl, and sure, you could definitely use the eyesight boost.
Yeah, why didn't he give him LASIK?
Yeah,
he could have done that in 5 seconds.
Fuck, dude?
And fixed his scapula. Jeez, Jimmy.
Always fix the fucking scapula.
What a jerk.
I strode back to my keyboard and quickly whipped up a couple dozen more equations to target and simulate the other areas of the brain instead of the creativity sector I'd targeted for my own. For Sheen's, a little reality-bending enhancement, and for Carl's, simple, just a tweak directed at the optical receptors. Can we talk about, too, how he had a rocket that didn't need to be, like, pressurized or any sort of air when he would go into space?
Do you remember that episode where Sheen asks that?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Jimmy, why can't we breathe in space? He goes, oh, very interesting. Let me explain it. Yeah. And they cut away, and then it cuts back, and he's like, wow.
Yeah. I think that's actually the Twonky episode.
Yeah?
Yeah, because remember they go in the meteor?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they, like, fly to the meteor. I think it's where the Twonkies come from.
Wow.
Jimmy Neutron's just flooding back to me right now. Mm-hmm. All the spaceships in the movie were carnival rides.
Right. Well, the Yokians rode around in giant egg carriers.
Yeah, and they rode around in carnival rides. Mm-hmm. And they had the one that always got sick.
That's where his rocket came from. It was one of those little rockets that moves back and forth.
Oh, yeah!
And then he turned into an actual rocket.
Mm. Pretty soon, we all had a pill in hand, and I instructed them, for maximum effectiveness, it should be allowed to dissolve completely under your tongue. Got it! Sheen yelled, sticking it in his mouth immediately and beginning to chew.
Yeah, boy. That's how I handle it.
Yeah. No, Sheen, Ick, gross, this stuff is nasty, Sheen yelped and spat out the fractured pill into his hand. I looked to Carl for reassurance, but even his iron stomach couldn't seem to handle the taste. Yeah, Jimmy, I think I'd rather not see for a while. I hadn't considered the taste aversion when formulating the oral administration, I thought, over possible solutions, and pretty soon the ideal one came to me. I still have some vials of concentrated flavor serums from when I made the ultimate candy. Carl, why don't you grab a couple vials from that shelf over there while I reconfigure the synthesizer to inject the extracts into the pill?
That was another episode.
That was a great episode. You know what my favorite episode was?
What's that?
The absolute best one. The one where he made the permanent winter.
Look, yeah. Look, yeah. Ooh, caribou!
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember the caribou.
Yeah, it's stuck in my head forever.
So good. I will die.
I love the Halloween one where he didn't have a costume, so he made a machine that turned people into the actual things.
That's good.
That was a good episode.
Yeah.
That was a Halloween special. When I was a kid, I didn't go out with friends because I didn't have any. I would watch the Halloween, all the various holiday specials.
My favorite holiday special was Fairly Odd Parents Christmas.
Which one?
He wished for Christmas all the time.
Oh, yeah, you told me this, yeah.
It's a good one.
This is a Disney Channel original movie. The Ultimate Christmas Present.
Yep.
That's my Christmas everyday thing. It's snowing in Burbank.
Yeah.
Way off topic. I'm so sorry.
No, we're good. This required quite a few new equations and commands to correctly instruct Vox to make the pills with the additional flavorings without compromising the integrity of the pill. I got so caught up in my work and the tap-tap-taps on the keyboard that I turned out the sounds of Carl and Sheen talking behind me. What flavors did you get, Carl? Sheen demanded. I don't know. I couldn't read the labels or anything, so I just grabbed some vials. Here, let me look. Fruity. Fruity. I want that one. Give me the next one. Minty. Minty. Wait, I changed my mind. I want that one. Okay, what's the last one? Truth. Truth. I changed my mind. I want that. Hey, wait a second. What the heck kind of flavor is truth? Yeah, I don't know. No, we can get that one to Jimmy. You can have the fruity one, Carl.
Can Sheen not read?
I guess they're making Sheen sound like a dumbass.
Is he literate?
Oh, thanks, Sheen. I love fruit. They remind me of picnics in the park with Jimmy's mom. You remember Carl's in love with Jimmy's mom?
Yeah, he wanted to smash.
He wanted to Mrs. Robinson type smash on that one.
Trudy, that was her name.
Trudy,
yeah.
Okay. Dude, Sheen said, nearly speechless in awkward horror. Cookies, the lemon ones. Completing my calculations, I called out to my friends who were fighting about who knows what. Okay, load Carl's flavor bottle into the injection duct. Within a minute, Carl's pill was ready. Likewise, I instructed Sheen's flavor to be made next, then finally, my own. Cheers, my friends. Soon we will be infinitely better at our respective skills for the next 18 hours. I toasted, raising my pill before placing it in my mouth with a flourish.
I hope he's got truth, so he's going to write poetic justice.
Puking Pluto. These pills really did taste gross, even with the flavor addition. Perhaps there was a clog in the flavor tube or something, because frankly, I can't taste any of my candy serum flavors. With a cough and a sputter, I ran off to get a glass of water the moment my pill had dissolved. When I returned to Carl and Sheen, I was pleased to find that despite the poor taste, the pill seemed to be having the desired effect. Carl runs towards me and proclaims, I don't look exactly like a chocolate ice cream cone anymore. Just mostly. And Sheen is engaged in mortal combat with the broom. Die, you straw-headed demon! Sheen battle-cried, giving the broom a good headbutt or two. I roll my eyes at his antics, then begin to usher them out of my lab. You have a good night. Enjoy your enhanced skills. I'll see you in school tomorrow morning, I call out after them. Alone at last, now to tackle that creative writing assignment.
This guy's a super genius. He can't even handle like a 4th grade creative writing assignment.
Exactly. He's got to do poetry.
He had to cheat. He had to like invent something that would change the history of the world.
Yeah. It is bliss to chop, invigorating to kick. This power of force. These are my feelings. In haiku form I'm reading. I love Taekwondo. I listened to the last 2 stanzas of Cindy's extremely long haiku on her feelings about various martial arts.
Extremely long haiku? Is that possible?
I think it's supposed to be a joke.
Okay.
About various martial arts, tapping my finger impatiently against my desk. The sound is drowned out by the whoosh noises Sheen is making from his desk. No doubt pretending it's some sort of aerial device for his superhero travels. I check my watch as Cindy bows to indicate the completion of her performance. I've still got 3 minutes until the effects of the skill enhancer wear off. That was Brock! Very interesting, Cindy. Miss Fowl complimented, my arch nemesis. Just you wait, Miss Fowl.
Really?
My poem will blow Cindy's away. You'll see. I now want an American Psycho Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
I do 1,000 math equations every morning. I pulled out my ray gun and compared it to his. I was angered by the way that his looked compared to mine.
As long as it ends with him killing Jared Leto.
Yes.
Preferably in Joker face.
Anytime Jared Leto dies, I'm happy.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Miss Fowl, Cindy said with another bow. Then she turns to me with a smirk that silently screams, Top that, Neutron. I merely glare my response. Oh, I will, Miss Vortex. I will.
Vortex, that was his name.
Now, let's see. Continuing with our presentations of poems about how we feel. The eerily bird-like teacher looked even more like she belonged in an aviary as she craned her neck over the list of presenters to see who was next. Elbows poised at her sides like she was ready to take a flight at any moment. Next up is Jimmy. Please come to the front room of the classroom.
As a parent coming to parent-teachers conference night, how would you feel meeting this insane person? How would you feel about them caring, being your children's supervisor essentially for a long period of time?
I wouldn't like it.
Well, she literally flew over the cuckoo's nest to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way.
No, she's not going to be the teacher.
No way.
I would rather have Ned Schneebly be the teacher.
Mr. Schneebly.
The fake Ned Schneebly be the teacher, yeah.
I've touched your kids, and I'm pretty sure they've touched me.
Gladly, Miss Fowl, I respond as I grab the poem I wrote up Sunday evening and trot up to the blackboard. I glance at my watch one last time. Guess I'll have to make this quick, for I only have 20 seconds left before the skill enhancer wears off. Clearing my throat, I begin to read. A virus threatens to smite me. The virus of Aphrodite. That vile yet pleasant ailment, that of love, which does not relent.
Here comes the truth flavor.
It came upon me without warning, and holds me even now, on this morning. A love so sweet, I'd put honey to shame. I cannot even escape the thrill of her name. I feel a tingling sensation as the effects of the skill enhancer wear off.
Ooh.
The effect temporarily renders me unable to speak as my mind tries to reconcile the changes that just took place in my brain. Note to self, fine antidote to the side effect. When I find I'm able to speak again, I first take a glance at my classmates, for they've been eerily silent despite my dramatic pause. The sight is unsettling, for not only are they gaping in awe, but the look in some of their eyes, the look in Cindy's eyes, clues me in that something is off. I quickly scan over my poem once more, truly taking in the meaning of what I wrote, each line causing my eyes to dilate more and more in horror. Holy Heisenberg! What the heck had I written this? Or why the heck had I written this? I calculated all the variables, all the equations. How could it go this horribly wrong? My thoughts are interrupted when Brittany suddenly cries, "Well, don't stop, Jimmy. Keep going. It's so romantic."
Oh, he's wooing all of the
Is Brittany
classmates.
the Kardashian?
What was her name? Like Betty Ann or something?
Betty, yeah.
No, not even. Quinlan.
Quinlan. Well, who's Brittany then?
Oh dear.
Brittany Tonelli.
It's Brittany Tonelli.
Brittany Tonelli. Oh,
Brittany
God. I remember her.
She looks like the, remember that smile?
Big-ass smile.
You watched Courage the Cowardly Dog, right?
Of course.
Remember that creepy big smiley guy?
Yeah.
She looks like his kid.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Oh, remember that they had the soda fountain that they'd all go to as kids?
Yeah.
He'd ride Goddard like a scooter.
Yeah. Give her a thick Italian. Give her a Joey Wheeler Italian accent.
Joey Wheeler!
Brittany Tonelli!
Brittany Tonelli! Well, don't stop, Jimmy. Keep going. It's so romantic.
Oh!
I want to fuse these fics. Well, don't stop, Uncle Sammy. Just keep going. It's so romantic. What a good fuck.
Brittany Tonelli's middle name? Shapiro. Brittany Shapiro Tonelli.
I feel the heat rise in my cheeks as the consequences of what I just read start to unfold. Butch stands up and yells, "I always knew you were a pansy, Neutron. That's an extra wedgie penalty." My posterior seems to chafe at the very thought of it.
Be still, my chafing posterior.
Oh, here's another Brittany line. "Oh, stop, Butch. I think it's sweet," Brittany exclaimed. "So what is the name that makes you so thrilled?" she asks me, regarding me much differently than she used to before. Wait, did she just wink at me? What was going on? "Oh, please," Cindy snaps, finally snapping out of her temporary stupor. "We all know he follows Betty Quinlan around like a little lost puppy. Why don't you go and read it to her and spare us before we barf?"
It's not Betty Quinlan.
She glares at me like such a thing would be a horrible crime against nature and slumps down in her desk, looking almost defeated.
Someone's jelly.
But for what reason? Someone, but I'm not sure who, since I'm still visually assessing Cindy's reaction, begins to sing the classic taunting song, "Jimmy and Betty sitting in a tree."
QISA. Why'd you stop?
What were you singing?
The Kissing in the Tree song.
So sing it.
Betty and Jimmy sitting in the tree. QISHING. First comes love, first comes Q.
Quishing?
Kissing. What?
McQuishing?
What are you talking about?
At this, my embarrassment meter exceeds my maximum threshold, and my mind contemplates the fight or flight signals my adrenaline is giving it. It ultimately decides on the flight option. Before I realize what I'm doing,
I have flight or flight symptoms.
Yeah. I'm running out of the doors of my classroom and clear out into the playground, choosing a solitary swing to escape the harassment and sort out my thoughts on the horrific poem my own hands wrote.
Swinging out, James.
Sighing in humiliation and dreading the moment I'll have to face my peers again, I drag myself back towards the entrance of Lindenberg Elementary. As I approach the steps, I realize I'm still clutching my abomination of a poem and in a surge of terror, rush to the trash bin at the bottom of the school stairs, crumple the paper into a wad, and chuck the incriminating poem into its billowy depths. Finally feeling a touch more at ease, I begin to ascend the stairs, only to bump into a humanoid obstacle. A female humanoid obstacle. A blonde-haired, green-eyed female humanal obstacle. Cindy. As each new detail dawned on me, my dread returned exponentially, as did the blushed color of my cheeks. Keeping my head low in the hopes my distress would go unnoticed, I try a simple, "Excuse me, Vortex." "Poetic and polite? Pinch me, Libby. I think I'm dreaming," the blonde vixen commanded.
Blonde vixen?
Damn.
Whoa.
Which somehow managed to make the back of my neck tingle despite the harsh tones that laced her otherwise pleasing voice. The girls continued to giggle, so I attempted to slip past them and into the relative safety of the school building, then stopped dead as a haunting realization hit me. If they were coming out of the school just now, that meant they'd seen him throw his trash in the see him trash his poem. Mm-hmm. Stealing a quick glance backwards, I noted that the females were regarding me with confusion, but still giddy over their last jab, and apparently uninterested in the garbage bin. Now would be the only time to make my escape. I'd have to take my chances with the trash poem, which seemed to have gone unnoticed by them.
The trash poem.
The rest of the day, nay, the rest of the week, was unbearable. I suffered immeasurable teasing from my classmates. Cindy being the primary culprit, of course.
Why are they teasing him again?
Because he's in love, and he's in elementary school, and you can't do that.
Betty Tonelli seemed to like it.
Yeah, Betty Tonelli! When I was in elementary school, we were at an assembly, and they were playing All You Need Is Love by the Beatles. Yeah, Brittany Tonelli. They were playing All You Need Is Love by the Beatles, and when I was singing along with it, everyone thought I was weird.
You were. You're not supposed to know that when you're in elementary school.
It's really mean. I like the Beatles like a lot, so it's whatever. I finally found the culprit behind my close call with the public confession. Carl had grabbed the vial of experimental truth serum for my flavoring, an oversight on my part, both to place the truth serum adjacent to the flavor serums and to trust the half-blind Carl to grab the correct ones. One would think that by now I'd learned not to jinx myself and say nothing could possibly go wrong, because every single time an unknown variable pops in, mixes with a little entropy, and causes near catastrophic side effects. To think I'd nearly confessed my love in front of the entire class. Wait, I love her? That can't be right. Those feelings must have been a side effect of the truth serum. Yeah, that's it. Did Carl accidentally put a little love potion 976/J in my flavor serum too?
Love potion number 9.
A quick scan on Vox's inventory levels showed that no love potion had been lost. It was just the truth serum. Could this possibly mean his true feelings were... Epilogue.
What? Epilogue?
Epilogue? So, Cindy, what'll it be? Truth or dare? Libby asked playfully as the two kicked off their Friday night sleepover. Cindy mulled over that for a little while, then responded confidently. Dare. Hit me with your best shot, Libby. Perfect. I've been saving this one all week, Libby exclaimed, then rushed over to her duffel, pulling out a crumpled piece of paper that looked like it'd gone through the war.
Yep.
Which war? What do you mean, the war?
The Great War.
The war.
This took place between World War I and World War II,
yeah.
where they just referred to it as the war.
Cocking an eyebrow inquisitively, Cindy asked, "What's that, Libs?" "This," Libby replied, brandishing the dirty paper before Cindy's eyes, "is Jimmy's poem he wrote for class last Monday." Libby exclaimed in triumph, "And I triple dog dare you to read it out loud to me." Surprise and indignation written on her face, Cindy demanded, "What? Where did you get that? I looked all over for the school for that."
What?
"Oh, you did you?" Libby taunted with a knowing smirk. "And just why did you look all over for it?" "Hey, this is truth or dare, and I've already picked dare, so you don't get to ask me that." "Girl, I don't need to ask you that. You reeked of garbage all week. I knew you were dumpster diving trying to find where Jimmy chucked it." Laughing nervously, Cindy spun another lie. "What? That's preposterous. I would never..." "Oh, save it. Just read the poem already. We both know you want to. And speak up. I want to hear each juicy word of it."
Speak up, Shirane.
Nervously accepting the paper from Libby's hand, Cindy meticulously flattened it out slowly, anxiety growing with each stroke. It's true, the curiosity...
Anxiety growing with each stroke is a line that belonged in the Uncle Sam fic.
It belongs in every fanfic.
Anxiety growing.
The curiosity was overwhelming, yet at the same time, she dreaded finding out just who Jimmy felt so strongly for. No doubt, it was Betty Quinlan. Of course, but still, Cindy didn't want to have that little detail affirmed. And then, at the back of her mind, there was that little spark of impossible hope that dared to dream, despite the odds, begging her to read and see if there was cause to hope. But what if she read instead, shot it down? That hope would be forever extinguished, and she wasn't sure how her heart would handle that.
Oh, girl, here you go. You better read that poem.
Finally, gathering up the courage to look, she hesitantly raised the paper to eye level and began to read with marked anxiety in her voice.
I'm enjoying this, like, a lot.
"A virus threatens to smite me, the virus of Aphrodite. That vile yet pleasant ailment, that of love which does not relent. It came upon me without warning, and holds me even now on this morning. A love so sweet, it put honey to shame. I cannot even escape the thrill of her name. Her eyes pull me in with emerald intensity. Her hair captivates, it is my golden density. Her neck calls to me with flesh alluring. Her lips tempt me, irresistibly inviting. Her beauty is overwhelming, yet I hide my stare. Her intellect intoxicating, yet I dare not declare. For I fear she will not accept me. I fear she'll think herself above me. So with each achievement I boast, hoping she'll notice me most, I try my best to prove I am worthy, despite knowing deep down I'll never be truly. Will I ever be good enough? Will I ever be brave enough to earn her affection, to proclaim my affliction? Will today be that day, the day I will say that out of all of the fairer sex, I will never love any more than Cynthia Vortex. End of fic.
Oh, burr. I knew it was coming the whole time, but wow. Nice. I like that. Like, boom. Then she like looks in the camera, and then the movie ends. Whoa.
Yeah. Also,
I like that.
Much appreciation to Zapuka, like very impressed, because at the end there's a notes section, and they like back up everything they do. So it's like Girl Eating Plant Experiment. The Girl Eating Plant Experiment was featured in the Jimmy Neutron movie. It was depicted chomping on a photo of Cindy Vortex as opposed to the picture of some fellow male classmates. Nice. Photo stash of Betty Quinlan. From the episode League of Villains, Cindy expressed annoyance multiple times upon finding them in various locations in Jimmy's lab, and even one in his rocket. Didn't you nearly delete all of mankind the last time you tried to use science to improve your creative writing skills? Episode Return of the Nanobots. So they cited themselves.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's the first time we've come across something like that.
That's a super fan. Well, that's like kind of like the Anthony Bourdain they had.
Yeah.
They cited.
Yeah, okay. I guess that would be the first.
But this is like this person just watched the box set collection of the whole
all
series.
Of Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, man, I like that. I like that. That was such like a throwback. Like I would have read that in middle school and been titillated. Been like, ooh, because it has so much of that like excitement. That like, oh, like I just love at the end of like Cindy's reading it. She's like, he's like, oh, this is it. Because if he likes Betty Quinlan when he's 9, that's it for me. I'm through. Yeah. I don't know. It
when
was
you're
really
a kid
well
where
done.
you're like, I like her. I don't know if she likes or dislikes me, but I know that if I tell her I like her, then we won't be friends if she doesn't like me.
Mm-hmm. And it's that perfect kind of bully crush. I didn't remember until I was reading this how much I liked that relationship. And I think it really just captures that like middle schooly so much.
And that's one thing about Cindy. Jimmy likes her because she's smart. She's like his academic equal almost. Oh fuck! This has nothing to do with it. I just remember the episode where he made the instruments that play themselves, and they had the band, and then they split up. That's a great episode too. Fuck! Why do I?
You played yourself instrument. Oh yeah, no, and then they're bringing up and they're talking the truth serum, and then Cindy lies because she's still lying. She's not under the impression of the truth serum, but she's more in tune with her feelings because she knows that she's after James. But it took Jim Jam taking the truth serum to understand it, which brings me to my question. So I already did my praises and criticism. I guess I'll have to think of some. If there were a truth serum like this, would you take it? Would you take a truth serum?
Well, what's the point?
Just like would you do it? Would you be afraid to?
What's
would
the
you
point
want
of taking
to?
it?
Well, I'm saying,
what's the situation I'm stepping into? How long does it last?
What do you got to hide? When you just 24 hours. You wake up, you down it, and
I'm
you
a
just
pretty
go
honest
throughout the
person
day.
to begin with.
Well, I'm thinking now. Okay, explain that before I impose my thoughts. Okay, go ahead.
What do you mean?
I'm just I'm just keep going.
No, like I'm a fairly honest person.
You wouldn't think about like because who knows like this circumstance. Okay, truth serum. I'll just I watch Netflix all day. Who cares? I'm not like talking to everybody. But in this instance, this kind of truth serum kind of it like forces you. It like brings everything out of you.
I think the only time that I ever like lie or get close to like telling any lies like that is to save people's feelings from like my true opinion of things.
Sure.
So I feel like the worst occasion to take a truth serum for me would be going to a family event with my like big family, my extended family,
right, and
being around everybody. And like normally I'm pretty contained. I don't really talk that much because I'm just like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And sometimes someone will do something or say something and I'll just be like, what a fucking stupid thing to say. That would probably be the only time it would get me in trouble, but I don't think I would care. Like I'd be standing there like, yeah, I'm saying what I want to say. Like I feel empowered. I'm I'm not hindered by, oh my God, I don't want to hurt their feelings, or oh my God, I don't want to come across looking like a bad person or a mean person. Because, I obviously like to think I don't care what other people think about me, but obviously we all care, and obviously
sure.
we say or do things to make people like us or to try to seem more approachable. So if the only thing a truth serum would really do to me is like kind of make me put my walls down, and I'd be like, you fucking idiot, more than I already am.
So would you want to do that? Would you do that?
If like I wouldn't go out of my way to do it, but if someone were like truth serum, I wouldn't be like, no, the world's over. I'd be like, all right, people are going to know what I think, and this is going to be an interesting turnaround for all of us.
See, I feel like a lot of people say, oh yeah, I take a truth serum. Oh, no problem. I'm an open book. But like secretly, like you give them like a blind test, but I'm not. I wouldn't take a truth serum.
Well, what do you have to hide?
I don't know. I don't want to know what's down
your real
there.
thoughts on me, Ryan?
What if I took this truth serum and then all of a sudden I'm saying I'm in love with Cindy Vortex?
That's a good
where
point.
Where did that come from?
What do you take the truth serum and you're like, Alex, you cabbage. you are
you
trash.
Cabbage. You always been cabbage.
Yeah, you trash.
Just like your father.
Just like Jay-Z. you trash. You cabbage, Alex.
Yeah.
So that would hurt. That would kind of hurt if you did that. So.
I wouldn't. If I took a truth serum, I wouldn't say that.
Good boy. Hell yeah. I'd be like, Ryan, you're my boy. Hell yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah. There's really not much to like. Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty honest to you. So kind of have to be when you're reading SpongeBob, Bill Clinton fanfic to each other. It's,
all the walls come down.
Yeah. Don't have much to hide.
Yeah. Did you have any criticisms just from reading it?
Honestly, I don't have that many. I like the fact that it was really, really grounded.
Good cliffhanger.
It was good cliffhanger. It was good writing. I like the fact that it was grounded in the show really well with all the references.
A lot of callbacks. This fan fiction was nice because it's almost like just nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to read 100,000 volumes of Jimmy Neutron fan fiction to get this. I could pick this up and be like, oh, I remember that. I remember.
Yeah,
I remember that. This is filled with member berries in the best way.
Yeah, in the best way possible. And the only criticism I'd sort of have is what we said at the beginning where Jimmy's almost written like he's above everybody in his head. And I don't think Jimmy's character is like that in the show. But
we don't know what he was like under the influence of the truth serum. He could have been like, oh, you guys are the best.
Yeah.
Truth serum, just it's booze.
Yeah, it's
you guys are my best friends.
You guys are so fucking cool, Jimmy.
You guys are awesome.
Cindy, can we smash?
I love Cindy. Love her.
Cindy, you're too cute to kill yourself.
When I get drunk, I just become a surfer.
Dude, Cindy's so tubular.
Cindy's so fucking taut. So yeah, that's the fic.
I liked it.
Like I said, it's called My True Feelings by Zepuka on Archive of Our Own. I thought it was a good fic. We got some good Jimmy Neutron reminiscing.
Yeah,
and I liked it. I thought it was good. Not the best one we've read, but I think it was interesting. It's the first first person one we've read. Like I said, really
second first person one we've read. Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam, reader and you, or Uncle Sam and reader. So here we go. Yeah.
Still, Jimmy...
That would almost be second person because it's saying you. That's a second person.
That's true. Jimmy and Cindy, great relationship. Second greatest relationship in this episode.
Yeah.
Behind Uncle Sam and Reader.
Of course.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam and you, dear listener.
Just doesn't have that complex relationship like Uncle Sam and you.
What are you stoked on, Ryan?
This week, I'm stoked on Chance the Rapper, big celebrity. Everyone listens to his music, whatever. He had a series of mixtapes before Coloring Book came out, which he won Grammys for and critical acclaim. And they were forever kind of inaccessible. So, people listened to him, but it's like it wasn't as easy. It was like you had to listen on YouTube or you had to like download the mixtape. But I think it was like the beginning of this week, he released Day 100, I think is his first mixtape, and then Acid Rap, which was his second mixtape. And they're on Spotify, they're on Apple Music, they're on Google Music, they're on everything. And they are so good. And it's got me so stoked
right now. They have to be on Spotify.
So stoked. 2013 is when Acid Rap came out. That was like high school, like listening to that was the absolute jam. And it has, if you're like a Chance fan because you listened to Coloring Book or you heard him, team up with DJ Khaled and Justin Bieber, and you're like, oh, Chance is cool. Please listen to Acid Rap. It's just packed with absolute bangers. Like, I like it better than Coloring Book. It's just so good. It's got what I consider the best Chance the Rapper song, Cocoa Butter Kisses. Gotta give it a listen.
I will say you're the Chance expert between the two of us.
I'm not even an expert. I just I remember listening to that in high school, and when it came back on, I was like, "There's no way this holds up." It holds up.
It holds up.
So jazzy.
That's good.
So good. He sounds so young. Does a collab with Gambino, Childish Gambino, which if they did today would like blow up the world. But here they are with Favorite Song, another great tune.
I'm looking on Spotify. It's not on any of the charts, the United States charts, which is weird.
I mean, it's all old music that came
I
out
guess
a long
it's
time
true.
ago. So
Middle Child by J. Cole still is, though, and that's a good song.
yeah, and it's funny. My friend, he turned me on to this. He's like, you should check out this Chance Guy acid rap. And I was like, oh yeah, this is really good. And then the next person he recommended, he's like, yo, you got to listen to this album called Sideline Story.
Oh, Sideline Story is a classic.
I was listening to that the other day because it just this brought me back to like the high school hip hop hustle phase. Yeah,
I think Lost Ones is one of the best songs J. Cole could
that
ever
is
make.
a really heavy song.
Really good.
Nobody's perfect. That's another good one.
That's a great song. I just like songs with messages, with meanings, stories, and I think that's a very good song.
Absolutely.
So, I am stoked. Unless you're not done with your stoked. I'm currently stoked on Community, dude. We are a hashtag calling back to high school right now.
The TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
Yeah,
I started
Donald Glover.
rewatching it on Hulu.
So good.
It's so good.
Dude, that show is amazing.
That show could not be made today, especially with some of the jokes it makes. But it's just so funny. It's so good. It's clever. It's great. I mean, it's just. Yeah, it's a solid show.
Yeah.
I miss how good it was, and
I remember like going through it. It was just like the adventures are so big, and like it was so wild and wacky. Yeah,
and it definitely has its problems. It definitely has like things wrong with it, I guess. But like,
give me an example. Give me some things wrong with it.
Oh, I think just the whole idea of going 6 seasons is kind of stupid. No,
too
I'm
much.
serious.
Too much.
What
was it? Too much? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean it's community college. You don't need to be there for 6 years. I know some people are, unfortunately, which is totally fine. No. Like I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying anything bad about it. But I'm just saying, like, on the course that Jeff was on, I don't think he'd stick around for 6 years.
He did because he loved them.
Yeah,
he was the first to leave, though. He was like the impetus for the show ending.
No, Donald Glover wasn't in the last few seasons.
No, but like his character leaves in like season 3. Like he's like, I'm graduating, guys, and he comes back as like a professor or whatever.
Yeah. That's a good show. It's one of the jokes that's really stuck with me is Annie, Allison Brie, who is forever and always Bae.
Mm-hmm. And she's big. Everyone from that show got big, except for Greta.
No, I didn't say big.
Stupid Brita.
I said Bae.
I know, but I'm just saying that everyone got big from that
Allison Brie is banging. Mm-hmm. Very good looking.
Yep.
Very good looking woman, as respectfully as I can say that. Mm-hmm. Super hot.
If you're listening, Allison Brie.
Hey, I know you're married to Dave Franco, but I've got a pretty successful fanfic podcast.
You're much taller than Dave Franco.
I am much taller than Dave Franco. But it's Annie, Allison Brie, needs to give a sex ed demonstration, and she's never seen a wang before, a wiener, a star-spangled ding-dong before.
A Jeff Winger wiener.
Yes, and so she is like peeking through a peephole to see the display she's going to be like doing the demonstration on. And then she has Britta and Gloria look at it. That's her name, right? Gloria? Mm-hmm. Yeah. She has them look at it, and they look through the peephole, and she goes, "Oh my God, is that big?" And Britta goes, "Oh yeah," at the same exact time that Gloria's going, "No, not at all." And Britta is a little white girl. Gloria is a middle-aged.
The actress who plays Gloria, she's such a great actress.
Yeah,
she's so good.
What's her name in Drake and Josh?
Is her name Yvonne? Oh, what's her name?
Yvette Nicole Brown.
Yvette Nicole. She's so good.
She's in Drake and Josh.
Yep, she's the manager at the movie theater.
Yeah, who loves Drake but hates Josh.
What a legend.
Yeah.
What a legend.
It's a great show, so I'm stoked on that. I'm going back and watching it. It's just funny. It's lighthearted. It's quick. Senor Chang is awesome. Yep. Yeah. And even Chevy Chase, he's good in that.
Yeah, he
Abed is scarily great.
Yeah.
Danny Pudi.
What is that guy in? That guy's got to be in something.
He was in the show that tanked with Vanessa Hudgens, where they clean up stuff after superheroes blow it up.
Oh, based off the Marvel comic?
I think it was a DC comic, but yeah.
I think it was based. I thought that was Marvel.
I thought it was DC.
Yeah, it probably was both.
Yeah, who knows? So yes, I'm stoked on Community.
I'm stoked on the community, our community of listeners.
Yeah,
thank you, listeners.
Thank you, dear listener.
Thanks for
you guys are great.
Today.
So I think that's the episode. I think that's the conclusion of today's stories. You got some good articles out of us. You got some good fix out of us. A nice Jimmy Neutron hashtag Throwback Friday.
Yeah.
And for all of you listening, I hope you had a great 4th of July.
Throwback Friday?
I did say Throwback Friday.
Isn't it Flashback Friday?
Throwback
Thursday?
Whatever the fuck it is.
Way back Wednesday?
I'm terrible at social media.
Too long ago Tuesday? And man, you gotta...
Man, it's been a while Monday.
Man, you're living in the past Monday.
Yeah. Man, please just move on Monday. I have a friend from back home who I don't think listens to this, so I can say it, but he always posts shit from like when he was in middle school and playing baseball. He's like, "Yeah, I remember when I cracked at a home run. Those were the days." It's like, really, homie?
Man, you're stuck in the past Monday.
You just graduated college. Like, go do something else instead of talking about how much you miss middle school baseball. Please. Please. So, yes, thank you for listening. I have enjoyed this time. I hope you have as well, dear listener, and Ryan. Obviously, you always consider Ryan's feelings, or at least I try to be. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good day.
I did. Yeah. I did. I enjoyed it very much.
Good. Ryan's actually working the midnight shifts now, so this is his evening, even though this is my morning. So, maybe for some of our listeners, it's a morning. For some of our listeners, it's an evening. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Good night to all the listeners.
Yeah, whether it was Independence Day for you or just a regular-ass Independence Day, like if you're in America, I hope you had a great 4th of July. And
a 5th of July. And a 6th of July.
I hope you just have a great week.
Just
great time.
Smashing through all those July days.
You got it. Dog days of summer are upon us. If you have a hard time getting through it, you can make it through it. Yeah.
Do we have any Australian listeners?
Australian, the dog days of winter, yeah. And then their Christmas is in the summer, so that's weird. Fucking
crikey.
Yeah, crikey. We have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, we have a Tumblr, we have a YouTubes, we have an email. All of that is Suck My Fanfic. We also have a Patreon. If you enjoyed us, please consider at least giving $1 a month. If not, just at least consider leaving us a review. Any review platforms that you have, we really appreciate it. They really help us. And quite frankly, we need our ego stroked. So that's a good way to do it.
What was it? We need anxiety to rise as you stroke our egos. What was that? With each stroke, her anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. So hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for the listen. And Ryan, what should we remember?
It may just be a normal day for you, but I hope you listen to this podcast. You close your eyes, you lay back, and you zoom through the stars. You bought candy bars. You were just a kid with a knack for invention, and a little bit of love coming your way from Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam loves you. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you from WSMFF.
WSMFF in the morning.